I'd love to start the conversation with how you got into sales, because I think before your first sales job, you were actually like in equity trading and sort of more on the finance side of things. Can you talk about kind of how you got into the world of software sales?
Yeah, it was by accident for sure. In college, I started writing fundamental analysis papers on equities. So I did like equity research on the side. Seeking Alpha was a website. In the Facebook IPO 2012 was like coming up, and I did a lot of kind of IPO related research with them, and found myself doing equity trading out of school and did that for a few years. And at the time, like startup weekends and lean startups, and there was kind of some grassroots tech ecosystem that was kind of happening in New York City. And I'd always been very entrepreneurial. Started to find myself in these like lean startup weekends and hackathons and stuff, and coinciding pretty much with like the burnout of short-term equity trading was my kind of interest in starting a company was ramping up. And so I had been looking to start a company, looking like Boston was a good place to do it, and was calling around my network to just find a job. Basically, I want to start a company right off the bat. Turns out you have to pay rent. I didn't really have much credentials to like raise around at the time. And so a friend of mine, Dave Miller, was interning at a company while he was at HBS. It was Insight Squared. That was sales and marketing analytics. I don't know if you ran into them from your Lattice days.
Yeah, yeah, definitely familiar with
Yeah.
them.
So the BI analytics space, and basically he's like, if you want to get your foot in the door, sales is a good way to join one of these startups. And they were around Series B at the time, and that was 2014. Kind of the BI, like Tableau was like one of the hottest companies, kind of up and coming at the time. Salesforce was early in kind of establishing like major dominance with sales and marketing, and that whole ecosystem was upbringing. So yeah, kind of lucked into a foot in the door, start as a BDR. And I think probably a few things from equity trading helped. One was certainly stress management, which there was like no salary, eat what you kill. At the end of the month, whatever you made, half went to the family office, half went to you. So it was very culture of meritocracy, and that kind of was rooted in the way that I enjoyed working was like a meritocratic environment, and also just having strong maybe first principles perspective on asking why questions, digging in. I think early in my tenure at Insight Squared, I came into a Series B company. They're all kind of messy. There wasn't, ton of process there. But I noticed that a lot of people were doing things very linearly, like, oh, you get the lead list in the morning. Like they had a content engine that was pretty insane. Early in the B2B lifecycle, there was some really nifty marketers, and they built a pretty good lead and content engine there. So people wake up, come in, just dial the MQLs for the day. And I think like I was definitely asking kind of questions around why we do certain things. I was surfing through the CRM, trying to see what stones were unturned. And I think, they were very transparent and competitive there as a culture. And so actually like the Insight Squared sales DNA, there's a lot of people that I've stayed very close with in tech, hired quite a bit of folks over. Data Robot, a lot of my early team was actually a lot of my peers there who, I think that was a very good kind of sales MBA because you're selling to sales leaders there. So yeah, that brought me to the Data Robot. That's where kind of reset in terms of there was nothing. Like
Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
nothing there. No machine, no engine. Data Robot and Jellyfish were both around the same place as far as when I joined them. It was like the first 20 or so customers. So it was like just exiting founder led sales. And Data Robot was 2016, Jellyfish was 2020. Both of those were kind of founder led, and then came in as those companies were trying to kind of establish actual go to market
Gotcha.
processes and engines. Yeah.
It's a story that really resonates with me because I feel like most, I don't know, business people who are trying to break into tech, like I started as an SDR too, essentially at Yelp, and sort of that was my way in. And then I didn't start, I didn't go super deep into sales, but I went into marketing. And so, yeah, I think just like smart people who want to break into tech and sort of can figure things out and disrupt kind of the status quo at the company is like the best way to kind of break in, as your story kind of says, is like get your feet in the door as an SDR and then start trying to make things, happen as you go.